So, Carlos, in this module, we call it Left to Bloom, right? It all starts with planning. And I know you're big, all of you are really big on planning. Let's pick up here, get into some of these points as well.
Yep. So I guess it all starts with knowing who your stakeholders are and engaging with them, during what I call blue sky periods, right? And I spoke earlier about reciprocating. That's important, where they need to engage with you too. It is not a one-way street, right? It's really about engaging with those partners on what your needs are, what your expectations are, how the rules of engagement, how often we're gonna communicate, how often we're gonna get together, how we're gonna communicate to each other during events, because it may change during the actual event, but having it laid out in advance makes it so much easier. That again, we spoke much about that. Joint awareness training is an important one, and this is where we basically brought in our stakeholders and their teams into our training facilities, so they understood what the electric, gas, and steam systems were all about, how they operate, and basic stuff. I mean, you're not getting that much under the hood where you need to have an engineering degree to understand it, but letting them know not only how it operates, but also how we're going to work during an event, how, what our options are, things that we use, and we take them to simulators. And in our training center, we had simulators for switches, we had a substation simulator. So they kind of, did that. What we also did was with the FDNY and the emergency services unit, we did tours of the substations that were near their fire companies. And we also grabbed the next fire company out, and they toured those facilities, because typically if you have a big event at a substation fire, you're going to have the first company and then the next, and they're going to be coming in from the next closest company to support them. And the more they knew about the facilities, the better. That part of that planning was we had red boxes in the substations, and that red box was for the fire department, and it had general information of that substation, basically how the configuration of the substation was, what hazardous material were at the facilities, the oil that was in the transformers and the breakers. They had the test results that showed they were non-PCB for their protection, and other information that they would need. So that kind of awareness training, that's important, and that, again, part of building trust. And they would reciprocate. So we would go visit New York City Emergency Management and see how they do things and how we coordinate. And other agencies did the same. The FDNY, NYPD, we shared a lot of the awareness training.
Well, Carlos, when you did that, I would think some people might be a little bit afraid, if I'm in private, letting government into my business, quote unquote, and vice versa.
Yep.
How would you help them get past that, right? Because it's a valid concern, but I don't think people realize for 1 unit of fear, there's 25 units of return.
Yeah, I think we've been through that journey. If we tell them everything, they're going to know everything about our business. Well, good. I want them to know the most about our business. First of all, you're going to get less questions. When you talk to them about something, they're going to understand what's happening and the gravity of the situation, or it's not really a big situation. Because we talk about loading, and we do pre-summer load relief programs, right? And we talk to them and explain to them, we upgraded these networks, and this is what we did. This was our the president of our company, and the head of electric distribution and transmission both came. The three of them came with me, and we gave annual meetings to stakeholders, both at the city and the county level, to let them know this is all the work that we did to prepare for this upcoming summer. By telling them that, they know that if they feel comfortable, that if we're willing to go talk about things that we did, and we don't get into the specific details, but we talk about certain circuits that they're familiar with, and we kind of generalize it to their either community or their neighborhoods and say, look, we worked in Crown Heights, and this is what we did in Crown Heights. We did this in, up in Mount Vernon, in New York, in Westchester. So they know, but those were probably areas that we had issues the summer before, because typically we would do our program decisions